What's up, everyone? Jacob Roach back here from the Killing Joke Studios and Mixing with Metal. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed to the channels, who's checked out the videos so far. I have something that I think is going to be very useful today, and that's just about mixing live toms. Now, toms are one of those things that if you know what you're doing, it shouldn't be too difficult to get a good sound out of, but if you don't, you can mess them up real quick. So I have this floor tom here. There's not a whole lot of tom work going on in this song, but I just want to show you how I treated these really quick. So let me play this section for you with everything in. Cool. So those are the toms right there. Let me show you them in solo. Cool. So as you can hear, these are just a live tom track. I just edited out the silence here. You can hear all the bleed in there. Don't want all that, especially that resonance, that low resonance you hear. So it's just good to manually cut out your toms. You could try and use a gate, but I haven't had great experiences with a gate. So just try and cut them out, especially with a song like this. You can see there's not a whole lot that needs to be done. In fact, I'm just going to mute the second tom because there's actually nothing going on the track. So with this floor tom, I'm going to show you what I kind of did to treat it. So let me bypass everything that's on it right now, and I'll show it to you just raw. Cool. So this was a Mapex. Oh man, not a Saturn. The series right under a Saturn V kit. And yeah, I can't remember the exact series right now. It's right under a Saturn though. And so it's a you know, kind of a middle of the road drum set, and the heads were, you know, decent. They were tuned decent, but as you can hear, I think I mic'd it up with a Sennheiser E604, and it's okay. It's not great. It's not an awesome tom sound. It's certainly not bad, but there definitely needs some work on there. So the first thing, when I'm thinking about mixing toms, the first thing I'm going to do is subtractive EQ, because immediately toms are just one of those things that they're going to need frequencies cut out. So I load up my trusty Pro Q2 here, and I went hunting. So let me show you what that's doing, and then I'll dig in a little bit more. So that's already doing a ton for the tom sound. As you can see, I've only done 2 moves here. These are pretty drastic moves, 15 or 14 dB cut here, and then 11.5 dB cut there. And I'm okay with that. It's getting the sound that I want to come out of the toms, and that's okay. And with subtractive EQ like this and an instrument like toms, I think you can stand to get away with kind of drastic cuts on them. And so what am I doing here? So let me go through these really quick. Let me go to this first one. So right around, let's see, this is at 401. No. That's this one. Let me get rid of that. That was just something I was messing around with. This is at around 350 hertz. And this is really that kind of cardboardy, nasty frequency. Let me bypass that and I'll bring it in. You can hear how much that's cleaning up the toms. Drastic difference, just getting rid of that kind of nastiness. This is, here, let me boost it really quick, kind of just accentuate what that is. So it's really cleaning up the toms. Yeah, you could go for a low boost or a high boost, but my first thought process is, okay, what am I going to take away from these toms? What's bothering me with them? And then I'll worry about adding stuff later back in. And we'll get to that in a minute. So the second move I made was around 4K. And the only reason I did that is because there was some nasty whistly stuff going on up there. Let me kind of show you really quick. So it's not doing a ton, not nearly as much as this, just a little bit more cleanup on it. Just to make sure that it's sounding the way I want. So right there, we've already gotten maybe 50% of the way, if not more, with our tom sound, just by making a few moves. Really, a lot of times you don't even need to do this. It's just kind of cutting somewhere in this mid-range area where you find some nasty buildup, which is generally natural with toms is already going to do a ton for your tom sound. So that's what we're doing there. Now, I thought, okay, well, now I've taken away what I don't like, so let's add back in some stuff I do like. So I got the SSL channel because for additive EQ, the SSL sounds absolutely great. Of course, you could do it on the Pro Q2 as well if that's what you want. I like this channel strip because I like the compressor on it for drums. And yeah, so let me show you what this is doing. Let me bypass the compression because I'm doing a little bit here and just show you what the EQ is doing. Out and then in. So yeah, it's there is quite a bit of a volume boost going on there, just because when I was mixing, I didn't want to reach for the fader. I kind of just wanted to do it within the plugin itself. Plus, I need to drive the plugin a little bit harder to hit the compressor where I wanted to hit it. So that's doing quite a bit, actually. I have a little bit of a filter here around 30 hertz. You know, whatever. It's cutting out stuff that really you know, it has no business being there. I'm doing a massive shelf here at about 9.5, 10K. I'm doing 11 dB, and that's doing a ton. Let me take that out, and I'll show you what that's doing. That's without it. Here's with it. So it's doing quite a bit, just getting some smack out of those toms a little bit. These definitely didn't have enough attack, not what I was wanting in these toms. So just boosting a ton there did the job. And again, it's a big boost, but I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about, okay, where am I getting the attack I want? I'm listening in context with the song. I'm flipping back and forth between solo and in the track, just seeing what I like, what my ears are kind of perking up at. I'm doing a little bit more of cutting here just because I boosted a little bit here and saw, okay, maybe around this 3.5K region, there was something a little gross. It's not doing a whole lot. Let me show you what it's doing really quick. So just, it's subtle, but kind of some upper mid-range stuff that was kind of seeping in there that I wanted to cut out. Down here, low, mids, nothing happening here. And then on this low filter here, I have the bell setting on, so it's not a shelf. And I'm boosting 96, so about 100 hertz here, 7.5 dB. So let me take that out and I'll bring it back in. Really just thickening up those toms a lot. One note here before I move on to the compression, I just want to note something about this EQ here. So why did I pick something so high for the shelf here? Well, the reason I generally do that is because I generally like my toms sitting above my guitars, because the guitars are going to be somewhere, the top end of the guitars are going to live somewhere in this 8K region, you know, maybe 8.5, whatever. And so what I'm trying to do is boost some top above the guitars so that the toms have clarity to cut above the guitars, because the guitars are going to eat, the rhythm guitars are going to eat up so much space in the mix that I'm trying to find a spot to boost these toms where they're going to have some clarity that can cut through the mix. So that's my EQ, and that's all the EQ I did on it. Now let's move over to the compression really quick. And this is doing quite a bit. I love this channel strip compressor on the Waves SSL. Let me bring it in, bypass, and I'll bring it back in. So it's kind of leveling off that transient a little bit, and really what it's doing is it's bringing up that low end, that kind of rumble of the tom. If you hear, listen to the low end of the tom, and I think you'll really notice it. So it's really bringing up that low end kind of rumble of the tom. And, you know, I might even come in here later, you know, and cut out a little bit more if there's some stuff in the low area that's bothering me. But, you know, for right now, I really like it. So what I'm doing here with the compression is I'm doing the fastest release possible, slow attack, which just no fast attack engaged, and basically slow attack. And then I have a ratio about 6-to-1 or so. And I'm trying to shave off maybe 3, maybe 6 dB. And, you know, I'll kind of play with this input really quick. And I'll bring it up a little bit and show you what that's doing, kind of shaving off a little bit more. So just a little bit more aggressive on it. And for something like this, I'm looking for that aggression because there's not a whole lot of tom work going on in this song. And, you know, when it is going on, it's generally just effectsy stuff. So I want pretty aggressive toms going on because I'm not worrying about huge fills or anything like that. And then lastly, to round it off, I just have Ascend going to a big room reverb, which at this moment in time is some T-Rex, classic room. This is what's been with my template for a very long time. Generally, I'll use something else. In fact, I just got the Steven Slate, the new Verb Suite Classics that came out. So I'll probably end up trying that on there. But just really what I'm looking to do is just a little bit of a room sound to give the toms a little bit more decay. Yeah, and, you know, generally you wouldn't want to get away. You couldn't get away with that big of a reverb. The only reason I can is, again, in this song, there's not a lot of tom work going on. So I can get away with quite a big reverb to get that kind of huge, monstrous tom sound. So if you have something that's going on, a track that's going on that has a lot of tom work, a lot of fast fills, stuff like that, you may want to consider dialing back the reverb a little bit so that it doesn't all fall on top of each other and kind of turn into a mess. So yeah, this is not a hard and fast rule. This is just something to taste for the song because there's not a whole lot of tom stuff going on. So as you can see, let me do it one more time, just bypass, and I'll bring everything in. Here's where we started. And here's where we ended up. You'd almost think that we're using a sample, and I think it sounds pretty awesome. So, like you can see, it's not too difficult getting a tom sound if you know what you want and you know what you're going for. So just a little bit of cleanup EQ, just a little bit of additive EQ. If you don't have the SSL channel, don't worry about it. You can do this with any other EQ. This sounds really great, but you know, you should be able to get the job done with just a couple EQs. Not to mention, I hate cutting and then boosting a bunch and then kind of seeing a spaghetti gross mess on my EQs. So splitting it up helps me a little bit stay focused on what I'm listening for. So yeah, that's how to EQ live toms. I can show you this rack tom really quick. Kind of the same thing going on here. Really fast, really quick there. The only reason I did so fast there is because there's a cymbal hit right here, and this is just a really quick effect kind of tom that doesn't really you're just getting the attack there. You shouldn't be hearing too much else in that part in the song. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful, guys. Just kind of showing you, for a very long time when I was mixing toms, I'd reach immediately for a sample or something like that. But you really, if you have decent microphones, a decent player, and a decent drum set, and you know how to tune your drums decently, you shouldn't be too far off from getting a good tom sound. You can really kind of go pretty crazy with them, just kind of hearing what's bothering you and then adding some stuff back in that you like. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. I know toms have been something that have been kind of on the back burner in my mind. And now that I know how to do them, I'm much more confident approaching them. So let me know if this is helpful for you guys in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. You can dislike it if this wasn't very helpful to you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Once again, we are on road for our 200 subscriber special, where I'm going to get on and just kind of answer your guys' questions during a live stream while I'm editing or something like that. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.